dresses, they are ultimately both the same. The only huge real difference is the sleeves. One's got whatever this is, strapless sleeves, I don't know, whatever that's called. And this one's got sleeves. They've both got a collar, they've both got that thing, both got belts, and both got pleated skirts. So ultimately I could just create both of them and then just make detachable sleeves, but also who says I'm good at that? Nobody. So yeah, I'm gonna pull it apart.
Seems like a good little sense.
And we'll have some fun. Let me cry along the way and watch the fun begin. So I'm looking at the pieces list, which I always look at because I ignore the instructions. Yo, you can make a belt! Watch my dumbass still not know how to make a belt. But like, hell yeah. And there's going to be a few things that I don't know how to do. But that's cool. That is cool. So I haven't even started, and I look at this picture and I'm already confused. I'm like, what needs beads? Like, I'm a dumbass. What needs beads? And then I look at the picture and realize it's the symbols. It's the symbols that need beads. Good thing about this is I'm not putting the symbols on this particular outfit. I may use them down the track, but not on this one. Yay. So realistically, looking at this, it's quite simple. It's literally skirt, 2 sleeves, and then it's the bodice and collar on here. Realistically, this should take a week, maybe no more than 2 weeks. But here's the problem. I know me. I've given myself a month for a deadline. I also know that I work 2 jobs, and both of them are in the festival industry. I also know that there's a lot coming up in May to do with events and festivals. So like, realistically, no longer than 2 weeks, right? Let's talk to me at the end of the month and see how I'm going then. Yeah? So remember Iron Snow when I did that video and I did the skirt wrong? Well, you know how the skirt's supposed to be connected to the shirt, which I didn't realize until after I made it. Guess what this costume involves? Connecting the skirt to the shirt. So I'm going to learn my lesson from Iron Snow and not finish the skirt until I've finished the shirt. Does that make sense? It sounds like a riddle, but it's not. So I can't close up the skirt and I can't stitch it together until it's stitched to the shirt, which then is going to make so much sense because it has a zipper going down the back of it in order to connect the two. So let's see if I actually follow through with that plan. And if I don't, guess who's going to cry again? Me. So as you can see, I have these 3 fabrics, gold, pink, and blue, which is fine because I know what I'm doing with them for my costume. Problem is, I'm using inspiration from other cosplayers, which is great, beautiful, they're extremely talented and they are amazing. The small problem is, I don't know how I'm gonna copy theirs. No, like, okay, so I'm not fully copying their design, but they have like the hem of this skirt that I absolutely love, and I'm like, I want to try that myself. This is why you don't mimic experienced cosplayers. It's cool to use them as inspiration, but I don't know how I'm gonna do it because I'm not as skilled as them. It's fine. Watch me cry about it. Don't worry, once this costume's done, I will reveal who the experienced cosplayers are that I am mimicking. Yeah? Yeah. Send help! Okay, so shirt update. Shirt is done. Shirt is in the wash. Don't know why I'm referring to it as if it's a James Gunn character. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so at the beginning of making this, I asked if you guys, I didn't ask, I said I wasn't going to tell you guys what I'm making. So I want to know if you guys have had any guesses yet. It is a white dress with pink and blue patterning decorations with a touch of gold fabric decorations. I will give you a clue, it's not superhero related, unfortunately, even though I do have a common thing of doing superheroes. It is something that I will be wearing to Sydney on my trip, which I'm going to be super excited for. It is something that I would love to wear outside of cosplay as well. Give me a sec, that's really loud, sorry. Downfall of listening to music is you forget how loud it is when you can't hear your own thoughts. Anyway, so as I was saying, it's not superhero related. It is more of a closet cosplay sort of deal. Something that I would love to wear to cons a bit more. Saves me also having to dress up all the time, because then I can just be like chill for a day. Yeah, so do you have any guesses? If you don't have any guesses, that's cool, because I will reveal who it is at the end once I do a try on. So it's gonna be super excited. I am almost done. I literally just have to do the little pink and blue squares, and then I just have to do buttons and a zipper, and like, well, I did say 2 weeks, and 2 weeks is like, we're all halfway through 2 weeks, so you know. Okay, so I have my shirt on. I realized I didn't stitch it properly, so that's going to be fixed up. Gotta stitch these things in so it can sit, because they're irritating me already. It's not too bad, like it's on, that part's stitched together, poorly, but it's stitched. I got my zipper in. I realized this side, because I have to stretch it over my body, it is a little tight, but I can sit down in it, which is the main thing, because I need to be able to sit for at least 2 hours. I don't like the back, because the back keeps riding up, so it looks a bit weird. But again, that's just something I can play with. It seems relatively okay. I mean, I got the skirt to put on, so I'm not too stressed about how much is showing. I gotta fix that up. My sewing machine kept like getting annoyed, so I was like, I gotta stitch that up properly, and then I can do it. See that? But like, yeah, not too bad. Pretty good after having like a little meltdown yesterday. Okay, so I have armhole facings. I was on the fence about doing these, because I was like, oh, I don't think I need them. Like, if I'm not going to do sleeves, I don't need them. But then I realized, even if I'm not going to do sleeves, it still would probably make the sleeves a lot tidier. I mean, they're tidy as is. But I mean, like, maybe like an extra over the shoulder would be nice. You definitely hide this a little bit more. I don't know, I'm gonna look at the instructions, and then I'm gonna decide, because like, I'm done my shirts. I just gotta fix up some little stitching. But like, I'm done my shirt, so I gotta decide if I really want these, or if I don't really want them. Otherwise, I'm gonna move on to my skirt. Well, that's helpful. So I'm looking at the instructions, and it doesn't tell me if it's an adamant thing that I need or not. I mean, it is, you stitch it yourself, and then you stitch it over what you've already stitched, which is essentially that. Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at this, because this is the sleeve holes. Again, it doesn't really specify. I mean, it wouldn't hurt, right? I have no idea what the dots are, but that's okay. I mean, like I said, it could make this really neat. It could hide the fact that I stuffed up my fabric, and could hide this a little bit better. You know, I might just do it. It's not gonna hurt. It's just, what, 4 extra, well, 2 of each, so 2 extra faces. That's fine. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'll be back with an update. Okay, so, I cut out my sleeve hole, armhole things. Didn't work out the way I planned it. I'm guessing they were supposed to go inside the shirt, but when I tried that, it made the shirt too tight, so I couldn't wear the shirt. So I was like, I'll like do a little fluffy thingy, so like it holds upwards, like that, sort of, yeah. So you can see my tattoo, but it still looks like a cute little sleeve. No, made it worse. So that didn't work, so we're not going to use those. I'm currently sitting in the shirt. This part is really irritating me, because it's rubbing onto my throat, and I don't like it, so I don't know how to get rid of it. Like, I could fold it in, but like, where would I stop folding? So it's just kind of a playing with it, which then might work, because I could probably fold it in a little bit, but then obviously too much cleavage. The back of it, yeah, the back of it's really weird. I don't like the back of it. But, yeah, I feel like a high priestess or something. I don't like it. Okay, so now that we have my skirt actually sorted now, thank you again to the people who helped me. Without you guys, I would be crying in the corner. Anyway, so while I'm working on my skirt, I realize I have another 2 steps to make. just to make it more complicated for myself, I'm going to finally add my pops of color. You guys have been seeing me make my blue and pink little thingies, whatever you want to call them. I'm going to call them flags because that sounds so much cooler. Well, I'm going to add some color to it, and then I'm going to put in a stripe of gold along the outfits, not just on the skirt, but hopefully also on the shirt. Maybe even make the collar pattern with these three colors. But yes, that's my skirt update. I will show you what you guys look like so really soon. Okay, so now my back hurts, but this is the first half, all plain and boring, and then we get to the pretty bits. Look how pretty it looks. I'm so excited. Though I have realized that I should have put like a backing to it, because yeah, the stitching is like totally amazing. Yeah, brilliant. But that's okay. It's gonna go on the bottom of my skirt once I finish it off. But oh my god, searching over this for like an hour. Oh, my back. That's okay, I got that part to do, and then I need to figure out if I need to cut any more for my skirt. But yay, so excited. Maybe if I'm smart, which I don't think I am, maybe I can do some like this for my shoulders or for like something. But I think that's really cool. Okay, so I've stitched one side. It looks okay. This I know there's some parts that are loose. I did have some issues, but that's a me problem. So you can see some issues here. Down full of sewing things at the back that you can't see. But that's one half of the edge. I just gotta do this side. No, not that side. Where is it? The side that's still got the pins in it. And then I can pin it to my skirts. Yay! Okay, so that part is all done. Both sides are stitched, and I didn't do lining because I'm incredibly smart. So I'm gonna stitch it to the bottom of my skirt. I just gotta figure out which side's the bottom. And then pin it. Or pin it, then stitch it. But yeah, it looks pretty cool. You got a clue on what she is yet? Cool, so that's all pinned to the bottom of my skirt. So I do have a little bit of excess, which I've already had to cut apart twice because I didn't realize how much it was. But that's cool. Final step is sewing this all onto the skirt. Cool, so that is it all sewed on. I just have to sew this correctly. But yeah, that looks actually really cool. And it adds a pop of colour to my skirt. Yeah, I should have sewed it like the lining on the other side, like afterwards, but I was. So yeah, that's to remind me that there's stuff loose, so then when I pin it all together and sew down the sides to make the skirt, it's all there. But my skirt is almost done. I just have a couple more steps to go, and then yay. But that actually looks really cool. I'm quite happy with that. I've come to the conclusion I'm really over-reading cut 1 on fold. Like, come on man, how much more pain do you want to put me through? Okay, it's fine. Alright, so that's the dress. I mean, I'm mad at myself because it's very shapeless. Like, you can see how shapeless it looks. I just gotta do the collar and add the buttons, but like, it's not too bad, considering I stuffed up a lot along the way. It is not bad. There is definitely things that I could do room for improvement with, like the skirts, for one, but like, it's not too bad. I actually don't mind it too much. But yeah, I can't wait to wear it and take it to Sydney. But yeah, thought I'd show it off. Make the collar, 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 make the collar. Screw it, doom scroll on social media. Anyway, so I did a TikTok about this, and I've got 2 videos coming out which I think you guys will enjoy. But basically, I can't get my shirt on. Hold on, let me rephrase. I can get my shirt on, but I can't do the front off because like the front's like, nah, screw you, we don't want to do up. And if I do this, I've done it wrong. So basically, I'm crying. Not really. But I'm ready to like have a mental breakdown over this shirt because it's irritating the bejeebus out of me. So when my TikToks upload to Instagram, please watch it because I'm going to need so much help. Thank you. So I don't have any buttons at the moment. So I'm just going to do the next best thing and sew this shirt because it said it's not supposed to be, you know, an open button shirt. It's supposed to be a fake button shirt. And up here it's supposed to be like pinned. So you can open and close it, which is why I broke my pin. So I have to remember there's a pin there, otherwise I'm going to die. But yeah, so I'm going to straight line stitch this. And then when I have some buttons, I will add some buttons. But I got to go to Spotlight for that, and I don't want to go to Spotlight at the moment. I'm too comfortable in the zone. Alright, so that's it. And then I'll show you what it is afterwards. Okay, so I probably made it like impossible to guess which character I'm doing a closet cosplay of, but I will give you a hint. It is Disney related. Bada bing, bada boom. If I feature a Disney related cosplay, I would love to grab photos with you. Like, I feel like if you're a particular princess or prince or well, beast, then let's get some photos together. I do know that this character is just as loved as the main characters. Mostly, I think she's just as loved purely because of who the voice actress is. But, you know, if my character fits the same theme as your cosplay, hit me up. I want to get photos with you. So, how many times is too many times to pull apart a costume? Or a dress or anything? I pulled this part this morning and I'm re-sewing it again, as you can see. I went to go stick my skirt on and I was like, oh, this shirt is not hemmed, so it looked like this. And I also learned that this is not sewn correctly either. So it turns out this is actually 4 buttons. It's not to hide fake buttons, it's actual buttons. What the hell am I learning? I also learned that I can't pleat the skirt. Before you all say why not, let me explain. So I don't have enough fabric to pleat the skirt. I was going to pleat it and I tried pleating it like 3 times, but every time I pleated it, I could only do half my body. Like, it would go from belly button to like back of my hip. So I ran out of fabric. So we're not pleating that. But yeah, we're gonna do this again, because 3rd time's a charm. And I have 13 days, or well, technically 12 days after today, to finish it. And yeah. But to be fair, it's gonna look a bit neater. Cause like, yeah. You can already tell it's going to be neater. But 3rd time's a charm! Yay! Here we go! It's the finish line! So that's the back of it pinned. I just gotta roll that over and do it to the front, but you'll be so excited. Like, so I just did some readjusting. So we've got the zipper all sorted. I just got to sew the side of these together. And then I've got to do this. But like, yeah, it is like a little too big. But that's okay. I would rather it be a little bit too big than too big. But yeah. I gotta stitch it. And I'll show you what it looks like. So that's what it looks like in its entirety. This is sewed. The middle part is sewed. The only thing that's missing is the buttons, because I have to fix that up. And then I gotta put a collar around. And I just have to fix this little part here. But it is wearable. I did a test walk around the lounge room. Did a test fit around the lounge room. It is wearable. But it has no shape. And that's because I didn't pleat this. I learned that I couldn't actually pleat it because there's not enough fabric for me to pleat the skirts. Yay! So it's very shapeless, which is not a good thing, but it's done. I made it. I'm happy with it. So it was a little too big over here, so I did have to flip that over, but that's okay. But yeah, that's a little progress report. It's just about done. Just have to do like 2 more things, the collar and the buttons. Oh, and this, so 3 things, I can't count. But that's all good. I'm happy with it. Yay! Okay, so I have this little piece. According to the instructions, it is supposed to be part of whatever the hell this is. But like, it don't go there. So this is number 5, right? What was I looking at? This is, it says stick 4 and 5 together. Okay, fine. I front facing and back facing sections stitched together. But like, is it supposed to sit there, or is it supposed to sit at the back? Because I only have one of these little guys, and one of these little guys is only going to go on one of the sides, and I can't stitch this to that because then that's not going to fit, and it's just going to make it really bad fit for me. So like, I'm really stuck, and this is what's not that. This is it. That's it. So I'm confused. Send help, please. So as I'm remaking my shirt for the 3rd time, I realize I've done this wrong. Like, besides the fact that I didn't give it the neck thing that I was supposed to do, so that's something else I gotta fix. These aren't supposed to actually sit on the thing, like on the shirt. They're actually supposed to be used for buttons and not to create a button illusion. Cool. Though I am still confused, because this is the button instructions, right? I know how to make buttons. I've done buttons before, and I don't know why I didn't understand this, but this is the instructions for it. Make buttonholes, leftover front, baste, sew buttons, bam. But I've never used these thingies, so alright, that's fine, I guess. So I'm gonna fix these up. I figured out how to do them properly, and I'm gonna create my little U-neck at the back here and do it properly. But yeah, take 3 is going smoothly, I think. Alright, so I'm gonna make my collar today, which is like the last real huge thing I have to make. So I've got my blue, got my pink, and I got my gold, and I got my pattern, and I read the instructions, and don't worry, I'm gonna fold it. I'm gonna fold it twice. Once for the blue, once for the pink, and then I'm just gonna line it with gold around the edges. So, can't wait to see what it looks like and show you guys, because then I'll finally have a pop of color on the shirts. So that's what it looks like before I put the gold on. Looks like a baby's bib. You got the blue on the back. Looks pretty cool. Feels very godmother. Oh my god, I should make a fairy godmother costume. I totally don't need another idea. But like, Cinderella's fairy godmother. Oh! Anyway, that's not what I'm making. I'm making Mrs. Potts. But like, that's like... Anyway, onto the gold before I distracted myself. Okay, so I've started putting the gold around. It's actually a lot trickier than I thought it would be. But that's a bit of it done. I still have to do this side and down the middle. But I miscalculated how much gold I'd need. That's okay. But yeah, it looks pretty cool. Stitching's half decent for a change. Yeah, I can't wait to see what it actually looks like completely done. Okay, so that is all done. I'm not going to sew this part because this part's supposed to sit close to my neck. And I can already tell this part would annoy me if it was next to my neck. So I'm not going to do it there, so I'm going to leave that free. But it is done. And now to attach it to the mess somewhere under there. Yay! Okay, so here's the thing. You can see the before and after. So these things fold inside, I believe. And I'm supposed to stick some buttons onto it. But the funny thing is, after I stitched it, I realized I don't have buttons, and I also realized that I don't know if I actually want to put buttons on, because this is like a fake thing, like you stitch it over and the buttons are just an illusion. And now I'm like, oh, I have to go out and buy buttons. But also, do I really want to do buttons? But it is really interesting, because I'm debating, like, if there was really cool little teacup buttons, I would totally buy those. But maybe to fit the theme, I might just buy little rose buttons, if there's any rose buttons, or anything like a red color. I don't know. But yeah, that's what it looks like. That's the before, that's the after, and it's something to do with buttons and creating a fake thing. Anyway, next step. Alright, so we've got the second part done. See? Yay! It is a bit of a bugger because I miscalculated it, so it kind of looks awkward up the top here. But it looks like a vest more than anything else. Like I said, I have to get buttons, but I'm going to figure that out as I go along. I've got the rest of this to finish off doing, and I think shirt's just about done. I think I just have to do another like length for the arm somewhere amongst that pattern work, but I just got to double check. Otherwise, I can start putting this all together. Yes! So I know the better plan would be to use a white zipper, because then it would blend into the outfit a lot better. But also, I'm really overlooking at white, because this whole dress is white. So I'm like, I'm going to add a pop of colour, even if it's on the zipper and it's going to ruin the outfit. But we're going to see how that goes, and if I don't like it, too bad, because I'm overlooking at the colour white. I need colour now. Okay, so I've done my zipper. Yay, we're just going to pretend that it's so nice and neat. But I can zip it up and down, so that's even better. Next step is getting the first half of my front and zipping it to the side. But it looks okay. We're just gonna pretend I didn't have a few hiccups along the line. Yeah? Okay, so zipper is done. I still have to fix that part out, and my stitch decided to be all weird, so I have to fix that up. But I can fix that up when I get the skirt on, because then I know how far I need to do the skirt, and I can fix that up when I've got the shirt all complete. But like, yeah, we got a zipper, baby, and it does zip. At least it should. Yes, it zips with no issues, except for the fact it's now stuck on my blanket. But yeah, we're gonna go and sort all that out, and then I'm gonna stitch those two and do the skirt. Okay, so now that I have a different back on, yay! I started pinning it again, and I had to remind myself not to pin this all the way, because I'm a dumbass. But it is feeling a lot better. Like, I've got a lot more movement in my arm, and like, I get that it's pinned, and when it's pinned, it's a different story. But I have a lot more movement, a lot more room. My dumbass was like, I can't get it on, not realizing that I haven't actually done the other side yet, because like, it's 10 o'clock in the morning and I'm a dumbass. I don't know if I should unpin that one. I'm just trying to figure out how it sits. And like, I know it's on backwards, because it's how I'm pinning that, right? I reckon if I don't pin that, I should be able to. Anyway, work in progress, but definitely a lot more movement, a lot more freer. I say that now, just wait till I pin it, stitch it, and then I'll cry. Okay, so I have to unpin my zipper so I can sew that on properly. The only upside to this, it means that I can fix my zipper up now, because like, I didn't stitch it properly, and if I don't stitch it properly, it's going to cause me issues. But that's okay. Unpin, put it onto that, and then I have a shirt. Fingers crossed, because I'll cry if I don't. Okay, so besides getting stabbed in the armpits, which actually really hurts, this fits. Like, I can like cross it over my body and it fits comfortably, except I don't like these parts. Like, do I have to fold that in a little bit more? Unstitch it a little bit more? I don't know, I'll work on it. But I am going to have a bit of cleavage on display, which I mean, is okay, I guess. But it's okay, work in progress. I don't like this part. I want to tuck it in a little bit more. But yeah, like I said, besides getting stabbed in the armpits, I can cross it over my body. Yay! Anyway, this is stabbing me. I'm gonna go finish sewing. Okay, so this fits comfortably, and I've even sat down while wearing it, so I can stretch it over. So that is fine, that works with me. Now the fun part is figuring out how to get the fake buttons on, like how far do I cross it over. But that's okay. That shirt is a lot better, a lot more comfortable, a lot more flexible to wear, and I'm happy with it. So again, thank you to everybody who showed me how to do a fold, because without you I would have been stuck. Alright, so I started doing the facing thing a lot better. I have the little back collar thing. It looks like a handbag. It's so cute. Sorry, I'm gonna see myself out. But yeah, turns out I also did this wrong, so I had to re-sew that. So that's fun. But yeah, let's see how this version goes. Hopefully it's a lot better. Okay, so I've got that. I've stitched it all the right way. And then stop the little pointy bits. I'm re-stitching this so it's on the outside as well. So it hides the pointy bits. Because I don't need pointy chests. But yeah, it's looking on progress. Still got to figure out how to get that to sit. But that's okay. Once I've done that, I can sew on these little bubbles. Because it's going to look so cool. Just gonna figure out maybe 3, maybe 4. Yeah, it fits as well, which is even better. So I'm actually quite happy with how this has turned out. It's a lot better, looks a lot neater. It only took how many attempts, guys? I think I made this shirt like 4 times, but that's okay. Like I said, the only thing I have left to do with this shirt is make the buttonholes. So I can't wait to put them on. But the small problem is I forgot how to make buttonholes, so that's fun. But that's okay, I will sort that out, and then I can stitch my skirts, which I'm going to be super happy with, because then it's done! Yay! Okay, so if you're like me and don't know what a fold is, to all the lovely people who commented on my video, you are legends. Let's see if I can show you what I think the interpretation of a fold is. Okay, so you grab your fabric, and you fold it in half. So see, I folded my fabric, right? And then you put your pattern down. So you make sure there's a fold line, and then you just cut around, like you pin it together and cut around it. And I just realized I'm using the wrong size. Give me a sec, and I'm gonna do it as I go. So we'll see if I'm right. If I'm wrong, I'm gonna cry again. Okay, so I've pinned it. So again, it's both sides. See, it's the fold. It's folded in half. It's pinned. I'm gonna cut it, and hopefully it should cut correctly. If not, we'll try again. Okay, so that's all cut out. I'm going to unpin it and show you what I think it should be. So that's all unpinned. So you should just be able to, it's like a book. You just unfold it and booyah! That's a fold, right? Yeah. Now I have to go repeat it 2 more times. One for the lining and one for the interfacing. But that looks a lot nicer and a lot easier. I know I didn't do it to the edge, like you know how you saw me not do it close to the edge, but like that's my own little dumbness. I do that purely because I'm very bad at sizing, and like this is on the back, so no one's gonna see the back anyway. But yeah, you're supposed to get it as close to the edge as possible. But that's a fold, according to everybody who showed me how to do a fold. I'm gonna do this 2 more times, and then that should be my back done correctly. I also know that because I didn't cut it straight to the edge, like down here, it has darts. I don't know what darts are, but I'm gonna go Google that, and then hopefully that means I can have a fitted back of the shirt properly. Anyway, I'll be back with the 2 more attempts. Okay, so I know the easiest way would be to fold my fabric and my interfacing, but because I've rolled my interfacing, it's not going to, you know, fold in half properly, and it's been rolled up for like God knows how long. So I'm going to do it this way, which is probably going to be more time consuming, but at least this way I can stretch it properly-ish. Alright, so that's the interfacing cut. Man, this way is so much easier. Why didn't anybody teach me about folds earlier? God. Alright, one last step. Alright, so I folded this second fabric that I'm going to use, the lining, and I folded that so it's going to be easier, and then I'm just going to cut it, and we're going to hope for the best. Okay, so all 3 pieces are now cut out. I just have to remember how I pinned it so I can stitch it correctly. And then I can put it back to my shirt, because that was a pain in the backside. Anyway, I'm going to pin and sew, and then I'll show you what the end result is. Alright, so this is the cut on fold. Okay, so see it says cut one on fold, which I didn't read. It sort of fits. But yeah, it's essentially just cutting the piece as a one hole. They should both fit, realistically. Realistically. But yeah, that's the back of it. So that was so much easier. I think I have to redo some of my shirts now and realize that. Yeah. I'm gonna go stitch it and then I'm gonna pin it to that bit. Alright, so this is what it looks like when it says on the fold. It looks like a pillowcase. But that's the before. I just have to unstitch the sides because it's all pinned. So I just got to unstitch that, which is fine. And then I just got to stitch that. But like, just giant ass pillowcase. But that looks so much better. It looks like it's going to fit a lot better as well. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Again, thank you to everybody who told me how to do a fold, because you guys are awesome and I genuinely appreciate it. Thank you. Can I just say how really smart I am? And I do this every goddamn time I sew, and I'm like, I'm a dumbass. Alright, so I'm about to stitch this side, right? Which is fine. But look what my dumbass decided to do. I've pinned all that. I've pinned all that. So I've got to unpin this, take all that off, and unpin it in order for me to just do that. Otherwise, I'm going to get all that getting on my way. But like, why do I do it every time? So, yay. You want to know how dumb I am? Anyway, I was trying to sew my armholes. They're all sewed in. And I was trying to sew this part. And I was like, oh my god, I'm going to do it so wrong. I'm not going to be able to put my shirt on. It's going to be so wrong and everything, this and that. Not realizing that I haven't done the front properly. Like, I haven't sewed it shut. So I'm like, oh no, I'm not going to be able to get my shirt on. Dumbass, it's literally one side with like a straight line. That's all I had to do. And here I'm freaking out that I can't get the damn thing on. Sorry. Like, it's not even finished and I'm already having that little fear already. But I did think I sewed it wrong. But I will find out because I'm not sure how it's supposed to sit. But anyway, I thought you'd get a laugh out of my freaking out moment. So this doesn't fit properly, which is great. But while I'm trying to figure out how it sits on me, I have pointy bits. Pointy bits. Like that's not supposed to happen, right? And like if I fold it in, I can't do it up. So I can't get it in because then I can't stitch it properly and it's going to break. So either I need to undo this, which wouldn't surprise me, or I stuffed it up somewhere along the line, which again wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, I don't want pointy bits. We don't need pointy bits, not that low. Okay, back to the drawing board. So I've unstitched these things here and I don't know how to do them. Like, I'm completely and utterly lost. So I kind of pinned that just to get an idea that this is buttons. According to this, the buttons are fake, I think. I don't know, I'm really confused. So I don't know. It says sew buttons under when garment is finished. Snap edge here. So I don't know, is it an actual button or is it not buttons? I'm really confused and I really need help so badly. But anyway, like I said, I unstitched this. I don't know how to do it. Like, if I do it like that, that's going to be in my neck like it was before. If I don't sew it, then how the hell am I going to get this shirt to stay put when I wear it? Like, there is that much gap there. So, if anyone wants to help me, like, you'll greatly appreciate it, because I'm so damn confused. Like, I'm not even a big busty person. And I don't know what I've done wrong. So I tried to put this on, because I pinned it. I was like, I'll see how it goes pinned. I had all this pinned, and I was like, I can get it on. And then, because my zipper was undone, I couldn't get my zipper up. Like, my zipper got stuck down here. And I was like, great. So I am incredibly stuck because like this is the piece that I have to do. Because once this is done, I can do my skirt. And my skirt's literally just sewing it straight down the bottom. But I am full on stuck. I've checked my pattern to make sure, like I've checked all these pieces to make sure I did the right size. And they're all a size 18. And I understand that American size 18 is different to Australian size 18. But I would think like even then, I'm an Australian size 16. So even then I wouldn't think a 16 and 18 is that much difference. But I can't put it on without suffocating my stomach. And again, I don't even consider myself a bigger person, but I'm also not that skinny. But also like, this rides up to the back of my ears. So like sits on the high end, you know, where your neck kind of grooves into your spine. That part sits on the top of that. And then this comes up to my ears, so that doesn't work. And I don't know if I'm actually supposed to create fake buttons or if it's supposed to be real buttons, but either way, I busted this trying to foot it on correctly. Like I couldn't pin myself back into it. So unless I create like two ends of a zipper, because that's the only reason this got some leeway, is because I created the zipper. But I still stuck with this part, like this part here. I've got to stitch these together. And I can't stitch these together because either it overhangs in order to fit it somewhat correctly, or I get this coming up to my bottom of my neck, like the chin, bottom of my chin. So like, I'm confused. So that's the instructions for the buttons, right? Which I think I know how to do buttons. And then I get really confused because somewhere else, where did I see it? Because over here it says armholes and appliques, so that's your armhole. But I'm not up to that step yet, because that's for a different step. But then it says to make your sleeves, and I'm not wanting sleeves. So, like, I can't stitch my armholes until I know how I'm stitching my whatever this part is. So, send help immediately, because I'm going to cry. So I'm doing a test run with my pinning before I stitch it, because I want to see the mistakes. I already know this is stuffed up because it's not pinned properly. But we've got this little piece pinned, so possibly that I could have fitted arms. The front's kind of screwing me over, but that's because I realize it's a fake thing. Yeah, there's a whole thing that I gotta figure out. It's all good, so that's working on. And then I'm getting to this side, and I'm like, oh, I gotta, like, it's really tight, and I'm really struggling to pin it together. But I also know that if I pin this, I can't get a zipper in. Because remember when we talked at the beginning? There's a side stitch that connects the shirt and the skirt, so I have to make sure I put a zipper in. I also know that I don't have a zipper that's going to fit this color. My bad. But it is flowing. Like this part's all sewed together, but it is flowing together. I did say it's going to take me a month, and we are on week 3, so you have to bear that in mind. So I'm a very big procrastinator, but we're getting there. I'm still figuring out a few things, but my shirt is a work in progress. I am actually going to skip the sleeves because it does say you can skip the sleeves. I have a collar here that I am very unsure if I want to put in, but I'm going to stick with the no sleeves look. Depending how much time I have, I might figure out how to add ruffles to this, just to annoy myself, because why not? So that's how it's going, but that's the shirt, and that's how everything is going so far. And in the meantime, I'm gonna keep figuring this out. So I did something wrong, and I really don't want to fix it up because I'm also incredibly lazy, but also I did something wrong, and I only noticed that as I'm starting to put my shirt together. So you can hear that this is kind of the scratchy side, like it's not soft. This is the soft side, right? This scratchy side, soft side, soft side. Let's get to this baby. Soft side, scratchy side. I put the wrong thing on the wrong side but like I don't have the patience to fix this up now. Like you can sort of see the difference, but also sort of not, but also you can. This is also where I'm going wrong with my shoulders. Because I lined it wrong. Because my damn ass couldn't figure out my shoulders. And now that I figured out my shoulders, I got it wrong. I told you I would stuff this up. And I don't want to remake it. But also, I told you that I would stuff this up. Oh, God. Okay, so now that I've had a moment to breathe and we're actually going to breathe again. So I'm looking at my instructions, right? And I'm seeing this, like I've made this so I can connect the two back pieces. Apparently that's not supposed to exist. That's not supposed to be there. But then how the hell am I supposed to make sure that the back doesn't fall apart and I can actually wear the goddamn shirt, right? So that doesn't look like they've used a stitch down the middle. So what did they use to connect the back to each other? And I'm just talking about the back of the shirt, right? I need to make sure it sits. So I'm really confused. This is why I don't read instructions, because I get confused. So there's that. And then that goes up to the bodice. But like looking at the pictures, they still have the sides unstitched. But this is the back of the shirt. So why doesn't my back of the shirt look like theirs? This is my back of the shirt. Unless I don't know what I'm doing. This is why I need an adult. But yeah, if anybody wants to tell me that I need to unstitch and tell me a better way to sew my back of the shirt together, that'd be great. But also, I don't want to unstitch. But if I have to unstitch, then so be it, because I don't like this part. This part does like sit to the back of my neck and it's annoying. But like, it could also be a part of the reason why it doesn't fit. But anyway, I need an adult who knows what they're doing, because I don't. Like, it doesn't even, because that says it's on the side. Unless it is supposed to be on the back. Hold on, we're going to learn together. We're just going to read my instructions together. Yeah, see, waistline seam. Waistline seam is like the side. I know that, right? I know that I'm dumb, but also I'm not that dumb. Because that looks like what the pocket is. So, anyway, someone, like, slide into my DMs and do, like, a full-on explanation in, like, layman's terms, because I'm dumb. Because I could really appreciate your help. Thank you. I have another small issue. Let's see if you can tell me what my issue is. I'm doing my skirt, right? I've got my front skirt, or at least I assume it's my front skirt. It's one of the panels of my skirt. But what does this say? Oh, Jesus Christ. I am not having any luck with this at all. Alright, now I think I need an adult again. So I need you adults again. Okay, so that looks like it's like the shirt, you know, I needed to cut one whole piece and not one tiny piece. So we're talking about the pocket here, right? Which seems easy. I know how to do pockets, I think. And then we get to, where did I see it? Right? God's sakes. We get to the pleating, which is a different story in itself. And this is the left pocket. But if it's one giant piece, how do I do the left pocket? I need an adult. And then we got the zipper, which is fine. But adults. Adults. I need adults. Because, like, that's your pockets. But if it says to cut to cut 2 on fold. I need an adult. I'm very confused. Like, well, that's a shirt. See, but like, let me see what else I can find. Give me, cause, okay, so I can't find any more information, but this is it sort of ruffled up. It's me trying to do pleats, and like, that barely covers half the mannequin, and I can't wear that in public. So am I supposed to do like what I did with the shirt? Fold it in half and cut the fabric? Or am I supposed to do something else? But then if I'm supposed to do something else, how the hell do I get the pockets on? Because like, that's in the middle of the skirt. I'm really confused. Adults. Okay, just a quick update. I recut it so it looks like one whole piece. But I am still stuck. Like, how am I supposed to put 2 pockets in when I don't know how to put 2 pockets in? So I still need an adult. Please. Thank you.
You say you like my hat.
My hat!
But you never say that you like me, or something nice like that. Well, what about me?
What about me?
Yeah, what about me?
What about me?
So I'm making whatever the hell this is, and I'm really confused because I don't know what it is. So it told me to do something. Yes, it told me to make these little things, which is what this is. Cut 2 of these so it looks like it has legs, and then cut 1 of these. But how do I, like, if they're supposed to be stitched together, okay, fine, but I'm lost. Cause that part looks, this is tiny compared to that part, and I'm just copying what all that crap says, and I've done something wrong, and I don't know what I did wrong. So I'm really confused, but this looks like an important part of the puzzle, so I can't exactly give up. Send help. Okay, so you can see the picture here, and now you can see that it's a front shirt. Now I'm looking at it, trying to figure out this piece, these pieces here, I don't know where the third piece went, but this piece and this piece actually help with the buttons. That's why I was getting stuck, because I was like, what the instructions are made for people who know what the hell they're doing, not for me. So my idiot ass was trying to pin it to the back of my shirt, not realizing that this is actually the front of the shirt. So we're going to grab my shirt and we're going to pin those pieces, pin these pieces to the front, just like this shirt did, where it says that. This is why we need more tutorials for dummies like me. So this should work now, because I'm going to know what to do. But also, I'm 100% sure I made the back piece, the little itty bitty back piece that you can barely see, too small. But like, if I did that, that's going to be my own problem. But like, this is a front piece, not a back piece. But that's cool. I'm sorted. Thank you, tutorial, for the person who I don't know. Okay, so this is what I mean. So we got the blue on the outside, and then I pull it out and it's the pink and the pink again. It's going to be a fun little piece to try and do. I hope I actually get it right, because I'm going to cry if I don't. I may have to fix this part, but that's okay. It's a work in progress. At least this is why we pin. But that actually looks pretty cool. It's going to make it a lot neater, and then it's going to look even better. Oh, well, I'll keep going, and then I'll show you what it looks like at the end. Okay, so like I said before, this is going to go on my skirt. And now looking at it, I know I haven't finished, but looking at it, I realize I should probably like hem the squares. But also, I want to make sure this plan 100% works before I get too far ahead. Because I know one side's going to be covered off with gold fabric, and the other side's going to be hanging off the skirt. Sort of, I think. I hope. So we're going to see how that goes. So before I hem it, I'm just going to do the squares and then pin it to my skirt and then pray it works that way. But anyway, that's a thought in process. So we'll continue with this thought in process, and we'll see how it goes at the end. Alright, so this is it. Somehow I ran out of blue fabric and I don't know how. But yeah! You know what it reminds me of? Those little banners that people would like make themselves and they would just hang it out. you know, I don't know, the anarchy banners or whatever. But yeah, that's what it looks like. It is kind of really long, and I may have too much for my skirt, but that's fine. So I'm going to go sew all the middle parts, all these together, and then I'm going to figure out if I'm going to hem it or not. So next step, yay! So I don't have any pink thread, but white will do. So it's pink, white and blue. So it's going well so far. This is only one square, but one square is better than none. But on to the next million. Okay, progress update. Yes, some of it is stitched together. The only small problem is because of the way it is, stitching's not the greatest, but that's okay. I will fix it along the way. But it is a start, and I'm super happy. And here is the piece de resistance. I totally butchered that word, but yay! Super happy. It's all pinned stitched together, very poorly, but it's stitched. I'm going to give it another wash, and then I'm going to pin it to my white skirt, and it's going to add some color. Yay! So while my pink and blue is in the wash and my white fabric is nice and clean, I need to do these two steps before I forget about them. So I'm going to create 2 pockets, which is going to make me happy because pockets! And then I got to figure out how to do the zipper. And the zipper is supposed to go down the back of the shirt and the skirt. And this is the part that I hate. But that's okay. I'm going to work on pockets first because, like, I got to make 2 pockets. I has mittens! I now want to make a gingerbread costume. Because, like, yes, mittens. Though the only sucky thing is I like to use my phone. So, like, I won't be making a gingerbread costume. But mittens! Actually, it's a pocket. I can't get it off. No, it's a pocket. Where'd it go? Pockets! And we have a second glove. Though that looks more like a shoe cover than a glove. But that's cool. 2 pockets is stitched. And now I gotta go find my skirt amongst this pile and stitch them onto the skirts. But like, yay! Okay, so sorry, I totally have a clean mind because this looks, yeah. Anyway, I'm a good girl. So I got my pockets, which is great. But the problem is because I never made pockets properly, and normally very bad, I don't know where my hand is going to get shoved into. That still sounds so wrong. But no, so like, I'm going to leave this part unstitched so I can figure out where it's going to sit on the skirt. But all that's going to be stitched together, and then I'm going to fit it onto my skirt. But yay! I have 2 pockets! Alright, so I've cut out my pattern pieces to see what I really need, and look what I need. 1, 2 back pieces, which is fine. Get to my front piece, and there's 1, 2, 3 pieces. So in total, I only need to cut 5 more pieces, and the fun fact is, these are only to do with the inside. So like, I don't actually need to do that much, which is super exciting. The last step I do have to do is just to do my pink and blue, but like, once I get all this sorted, I will know what I'm doing. But that is super exciting! Alright, so I'm looking at my pattern, and there's a few things on here that I need to do, but since most of it's facing, it shouldn't be too hard. And the fun fact is, most of it's to do with my shirt, which is even better. So I'm going to cut all this out, do the facing and the lining, whatever else I need to do. But like, fire truck, yes! I was like, yes, I will sew today. I was like, yes, I will do my shirt because all I have to do is stitch it so then I can do the skirt. I sewed my shirt wrong. I don't want to unstitch it, but I have to in order to make it look pretty. See my little problem? See? This is not how it's supposed to look like. That looks messy. This is what new me would do. You know, the little old me who didn't know what sewing was? This is what she would do. Now I have to go through all my shirts and unpin them and repin them again so I can do them correctly and not have it look like this. Guess who has to unstitch all this? Me. I don't want to, but I have to. So I'm looking in my box going, okay, so where's all my pins? This is where they normally are. Where are they? And I'm looking at this and I'm like, each square has 2 pins each, so 4 in total on each square. And then I look up to this little baby. That's where all my pins are. I have to stitch if I want my pins back, don't I? Yay! Or I could just go buy out more pins. I think I'm gonna go buy more pins. It's gonna be a lot easier. But like, I didn't think I would run out of pins. Don't you love it when you think you're so clever and you're like, yes, I will pin all this and move on to the next step. Not realizing that you haven't lined it, not realizing that you haven't cut the interior panels of it. Let's just say I'm so grateful that I've actually pinned it, because at least it's going to be easier for me to pull it apart so then I can do the lining side of this shirt. So I'm looking at the sleeves of the outfit I'm making, right? So this is the outfit. See, it's all pretty and white and all pinned together, ready to be sewn. But see my little problem? The inspiration that I'm using for this particular outfit, no one's got sleeves. And now you've all seen that I've struggled with sleeves. So my question is, do I put sleeves on that's on the pattern? Because I don't know where I put the pattern now, but the pattern has sleeves, and it's either like little short sleeves enough to cover your shoulder, or like long sleeves that get down to your wrist. Or can I be tricky and like create a pretty pattern sleeved thing? Let me explain. So I've got this and I'm making squares out of this, right? You can see my squares. So do I do what I'm doing with the skirt and create a pattern of blue and pink for the sleeves? But if I do that, that means I still kind of have to make sleeves. And it also means I'm going to need a white base fabric for the pattern to sit on, otherwise it's not going to work. I have so many questions and not enough answers. Send help. So you can all see that I'm in the process. Sorry, I didn't realize how loud that was. Anyway, so you can see that I'm pinning this, right? Anyway, I did a test fit and like shoved it against my body. I think I made the sleeve holes too small, and I don't think I can actually make sleeves. Ow, that actually is really sharp. Anyway, so yeah, I put it on and like, small problem. It's going to suffocate my arm, which is not going to be fun. I mean, I hope it's going to change when I actually stitch it all together, but in saying that, I might have some issues. Not gonna be fun. It looks really exciting. So I've done my shirt and I've done my skirt, wherever that is. But looking at the pieces that I have left, it's literally just this page that I have left. It's all stuff to do with facing, with the exception of the pocket. But that's facing, that's elastic, but I'm going to ignore the belt. Facing, is it? Yes. Yeah, facing, contrast fabric, facing. Like, you know how excited that makes me? It means like, I don't have to do anything else. I just have to do the lining and then I'm done. But before I do the lining, I gotta like stitch it all together, and then I gotta do my little pink and blue pattern because I want that to be done. But also like, yay, it's just about done. Fuck yeah. So I just had a friend tell me that sweat stains are going to be visible on white fabric. I'm now terrified to make sleeves. But also like, send help. Because I don't want this stained at all. Please. Okay, so skirt is cut and pinned. I've cut 4 layers. I was really confused purely because I'm an idiot, so let's laugh at that. So it's skirt front and back, right? So this is cut too. My dumbass was like, so how is this skirt gonna cover me? I mean, I know I'm not a big girl, but I also am not a small girl either. So I was like, don't you need 4 panels? 2 on each side and 1 at the front, 1 on the back? No, they've got it figured out. And I hope they have it figured out because I'm going to cry if they don't. The also dumb part, because I'm also an idiot, my lining and my exterior fabric are both the same color. And there's almost no difference between the two. Yay! I love that. That's okay, I'll pin this properly so that way I can sew the sides for the lining and the exterior fabric. And then I can figure out how to pleat it. Yay! Okay, so I pinned it, the lining with the right side, whatever. I'm still confused on how this is supposed to be a skirt. Now I have 2 of these. I'm still confused. So I put this against my body and I was like, okay, so it goes from one hip to the other, right? I also have to pleat it. I'm so confused. It's funny. It's fine. I'm gonna cry. It's okay. Why didn't anybody warn me that cutting squares is so time consuming? I've been doing this for about an hour now. And this is my progress. This is my beginning. And I go all the way up here. This is like literally just like the beginning of the fabric. It's still got like way too many meters to go. And then I got to do the blue one. So why didn't nobody warn me that this is the time consuming part? Oh my god, I'm gonna be bugged before 10 a.m. Alright, so I've cut this little thick wad of pink. I gave up, which is why it's not all of the pink cut up. So I'll see how I go with this one. It took me like an hour 50. Jesus Christ, I'm gonna cry. Let me not do that again. I still have to cut my blue, so we'll see how that goes. And then I've got to stitch the pattern. I'm going to pattern pink and blue and stitch those together to create the hemline of my skirt. But first, this baby. Okay, so now we have pink and blue both done. So basically the gist of it is, let's see if I can do this. Grab one, grab the other, and pin it together a lot neater than that, and then stitch down the side and make a pattern so it's going to be pink and blue along the way. Now this isn't part of the pattern that I'm using, the simplicity pattern. This is part of like a little design that I've taken inspiration from another big content creator. So yes, we'll figure out if this actually works and that I didn't actually waste my time. So fingers crossed it works. Okay, so here comes the time-consuming part of my costume. Cutting and making little squares. I have to do that for 2 different fabrics, my blue and pink. I have my square. Somehow I managed to make a square. Yay! But yeah, I have like probably a total of 4 meters to make squares out of. So that's gonna be super fun. But once that's done, I can then complete my skirt. Yay! So I stitched my skirt, which is fine. I have no problems with that. It seems to be going fine at the moment. But I have fabric. I'm supposed to be cutting them into squares and sticking them to the bottom of my skirt. I literally just aligned my skirt. I don't want to unstitch, but also like, yeah. You know what's so exciting about this pattern? Is I get to make a pocket! I get to make 2 pockets! Now if you've actually seen me make pockets, it won't go as pretty as you think it should. The last time I made pockets, yeah. But I'm gonna follow the instructions this time. So, so as you can see, I have these 3 fabrics, gold, pink, and blue, which is fine because I know what I'm doing with them for my costume. Problem is, I'm using inspiration from other cosplayers, which is great, beautiful, they're extremely talented, and they are amazing. The small problem is, I don't know how I'm gonna copy theirs. No, like, okay, so I'm not fully copying their design, but they have like the hem of this skirt that I absolutely love, and I'm like, I want to try that myself. This is why you don't mimic experienced cosplayers. It's cool to use them as inspiration, but I don't know how I'm gonna do it because I'm not as skilled as them. It's fine. Watch me cry about it. Don't worry, once this costume's done, I will reveal who the experienced cosplayers are that I am mimicking. Yeah? Yeah. Send help! I think I know where I go wrong when I make my shirts now. So this pattern is not a size that I normally get, which is definitely throwing a spanner in the works. Because when I buy my patterns, I'm anywhere between, I buy the size between 14 to 20, because then I can fit in that bracket. This one's a 10 to 18. And looking at the cuts that I've got for my shirts, let me show you my little problem. Because I was confused. I was like, why is there 4 pieces? Like, why is there 2 fronts and why is there 2 backs when they literally both say the same thing? I looked at it. This one's 10, 14, 18, 12, 16. This one, 12 to 16, 10, 14, 18. They are both the same thing. So that's your front. It's your front, your back, your back. They're the same piece. That's where I go wrong. Because I don't look at the numbers. And when I don't look at the numbers, I question why the fit is all wrong. I now have to pay attention to every pattern I use in the future. Cause I just, yeah. Yeah. Wish me luck. I love how making this reminds me of making my nurse costume. Because, like, this is how my nurse costume started out as. I mean, the only upside is it's not a nurse costume. Downside is I gotta make sure this one stays clean. Because I didn't care if my nurse costume got dirty. Alright, so it doesn't matter if you're a cosplayer or not. I have a question and I'm gonna need some serious help. People who live in white clothing. How do you keep it neat and clean? Like, I washed this before I started cutting into it. Took it off the line, and it's dirty. Started cutting into it, it's dirty. I'm going to have a dirty white dress before I finish. So if you live in white clothing, again, doesn't matter if you're a cosplayer or not, how do you keep white fabric nice and clean and near pristine, you know, pretty? Because I'm going to go insane washing this thing every 30 seconds. Especially when I'm done finished making it. Because, like, I don't like white fabric. I purposely avoid wearing white clothing. But, like, help, please. Okay, so even though I made a start on my skirt, I realized that I can't continue my skirt without continuing my top. Because according to the instructions, the skirt and top have to connect. I learned that lesson the hard way. So I'm going to work on the top and we're going to see how that goes. Because, yeah. Because we got the 2 sleeves here. And then somewhere around here is the bodice. Got my fabric. I just have to double check it's not my skirt. Because I will cry if I accidentally cut my skirt. But yeah. Once this is done, then it's just the skirt, and then I have to cut the rest of these. So fingers crossed, it will only take me the 2 weeks that I've estimated. Yeah? Yeah.